Hello, hello. So I'm just waiting for some people to pop up. Have to give me just a second. Let me get my glasses because, as you know by now, I'm blind without them. One sec. Hey. All right. Hi, Amy. Hey, babes. I love you. Hey, all. Thank you so much for the welcome back. That means the absolute world to me. It's amazing to be back. So I just want to say thank you so much to all of you that are my subbies. Thank you so much for all of you that are just passing through. For those of you that are a part of the Radiant Reality family, we are amazed and astounded. And I just had a Facebook notification pop up today, actually, that says on there that this time last year I was just reaching 10,000 subbies, and I am this year just past 17,500. So I'm close to having doubled what I had last year at this time. And I'm so... Oh, check my volume. Thank you. Is that any better? Can you all hear me a bit better now? Thank you so much for the congratulations. Can you hear me a bit better now? I have just turned it up. Happy birthday, Violet. Hey. So yeah, basically I was just saying I had a Facebook notification today that told me that this time last year I had 10,000 subbies, and this year I now have 17,500. So I'm approaching twice what I had this time last year, and I'm really hoping to do the same for next year. So thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscribes. Hello from Scotland. Can't wait to visit up there. Yeah, so I just want to say to all of you, thank you so much. And for those of you that are here tonight, turn the volume a bit higher if you can. Okay. That is about as much as I can give you for volume. So I'm sorry if you can't hear me from here on in. But yes, thank you so much for being here. So Florida in the hizzy. Love it. Thank you so much. So before I go into waffling at you, I just want to call in to this space, into this time, for all of you and for myself as well, and for everybody that I touch with this astrology and tarot reading tonight. I just want to say I bless you all with so much love, care, attention, abundance, peace, prosperity, and abundance itself. Thank you so much for being here in this space. May it be one of true wisdom, may it be one of true love and light, and may it bless you. And any of the messages that come through, I hope they are clear and concise, and they help all of you on your path in some way, shape or form to your highest vibrational good. All right. So, the full moon, the full super moon in Leo, that happens to be a lunar eclipse as well. So, I mean, for those of you that haven't seen it, I'm not going to go into too much about this, what this means to me, because there's already a video on that. So if you want to watch that later on as kind of like a precursor, and then maybe rewatch this video. Hi from Virginia. It will give you, some sort of basis of what I was talking about. Aquarius Sun, Leo Moon. I'm an Aquarius Sun and Leo Rising. So interesting. Good to have you. So the three real sort of fundamental things that I want to talk about here. There's been some astrologers, and I'm a fledgling astrologer, as many of you know. Tarot is where my real base, where my real weight is. I've got 15, 16, 17 years, worth of experience in tarot, and not so much in astrology. So some astrologers have said that they don't think it means anything, that it's a blue moon. I am a pagan, You know, I follow the ways of witchcraft, and you know, I'm quite devout. I say devout, that's such a crap word. I am very much into tying myself and my life into the seasons and the natural tides of life and the universe. And so, for me, you know, and for the ancient, you know, the ancient ones, they would see the blue moon as quite a rare and special event because it doesn't happen very often. So I believe that with the, you know, with this lunar eclipse, we're going to have, it's going to be like a three-hit whammy. So you've got full moon, which is culmination. It's the crescendo. It's things coming to a full. It's reaping the rewards and you know, making things concrete from something that you already started to build on. Then on top of that, you've got the blue moon. So blue moon is the second full moon that happens within the space of a 1 month period. And why is that special? Well, as far as I'm concerned, the reason that's special is because it's like a gift from the universe. It's an extra. It's something that you didn't expect, some chance. And I believe that the way this is going to work in tandem with the astrology is that it's going to give you a second chance at something. It's going to give you a second shot, a second bite at the apple, if you like. And then finally, the eclipse, which is all to do with endings. It's all to do with, you know, final completions and elevating to a next step. I've found that for myself as well. I'm a Leo rising, as many of you know. And last year was the solar eclipse in Leo, bang on my ascendant degree. And I tell you, yes, Rosalind, follow your sun, your moon, and your rising. That will give you a more complete picture of how this is going to happen and what the subtleties might well be for you. Okay, so I have waffled enough at you. I'm going to go into what you guys are all here for. I'm just going to wet me whistle. So, yeah, those are the sort of three things that I wanted to clarify about what I believe about the lunar eclipse. So first up, we have the sun sign of Aries. And for you guys, this full moon, blue moon, super moon eclipse falls in your 5th house. It falls in the sign of Leo, so it falls in your 5th house. Now, I've got lots of notes here, so you'll have to bear with me because, like I said, you know, I'm a fledgling astrologer. I've got way more tarot experience than I have astrology. But so what is the 5th house? This is your creativity. It's about art. It's about music. It's about books. It's about the joy of just experiencing those things. It's about the joy of experiencing life through the creative lens. It's about talking, it's, you know, about feeling life. It's about being connected to the sensuality of life. You know, the 5th house, the 5 senses, what you can touch, taste, see, smell, hear, you know, it's about all of that. But it's like I said, it's about art, music, books, theatre, film. These are going to be things that you start to really, certainly over the next, hi from Ireland, sort of 3 months, I'd say 3 to 4 months, you know, 6 at a stretch. Eclipses, you know, and big ones tend to affect us, and this is a big one. So, you know, I kind of feel that it's going to bring some of that weight. Equally, working with or around young people may well become an avenue where you really start to draw a lot of strength, or you really start to learn a lot about life. And I say that because, you know, people don't, as a society, actually, as a, you know, a whole race, we've kind of forgotten how much the younger generations can actually teach us, because they're not so tied to their conditioning or the way that they've been brought up or whatever their social confines, constructs or norms are. They are much more responsive to life by their sensuality. You know, they go from gut instinct and they're happy just to be, and to be that kind of tumbleweed. So for Aries, this is very much tapping into that part of you that is creative, that part of you that is, and you know, Aries is a very creative sign. Like, whatever you guys do, you do it with passion, you do it with pride. And this is asking you to get in touch with your creativity. It's asking you to get in touch with what you actually feel, and what are the modes of creativity that really speak to your soul, that excite you, that get you fired up, that make you start to look at things in a different perspective. For those of you that work in any form of the youth sector, although you may be a teacher or a mentor, don't forget that in return for giving knowledge and, you know, and experience and abundance to them in those fields, you can take some of that back. That's a good one, I like that. Also, so the profound ending that you might come about may be well to do with a business or an idea that you have, or for some of you this will be about watching a child leave home. You know, and it's about something that you've invested a lot of time into. And the interesting thing as well is Leo doesn't just represent all of your creativity, art, music, books, all of that stuff. It also represents your children. And your children aren't always physical beings. If you don't have any children, your business could be your baby. Your book that you're writing could be your baby. All of these things, anything that you give birth to, that you put your joy, your heart, your soul, your creativity into. For some people, it could even be how they've decorated their house. Whichever way, shape or form it takes for you is where you're going to experience this the most. It's, hey, 222. You're launching a website soon. Amazing. Yeah, really amazing. That kind of thing as well. Blogs, you know, vlogs, all of that stuff. This kind of thing as well could be really, really great for Aries because it's all to do with, you know, your 5th house. I would probably say to you guys that the next 3 months are not the time for you to get into anything speculative. It's just because, you know, with obviously the lunar eclipse and stuff there, it might take longer than you expect to get up and running. So the wish, what is the wish that you had? Something that will make your life easier or more leisurely. Is that because the full moon is a time of wishes. The full moon is a time of things coming to fruition and coming to start, or you know, or to rather to reap the rewards from. So you get a wish, you get a second chance, and you get an ending. Each one of the signs is going to have that. And how it plays out for you is going to vary depending on what sign you are and what sector this falls in for you. The second chance, some creative asset or ability that is latent now may start to become more dominant again and could at some point help you create something more substantial for yourself, possibly an idea that you had or have now or have possibly in the past that you've given a lot of time and effort to, that you put down, can now start to come back. Some talent or skill that you had in the creative sector. For some of you, it could even just be as, you know, as not mundane, but you get the point, as practical as, you know, you used to go to a dance class and you got loads out of it, but then you had to stop going. This could you be picking that back up now and really go in strides with it and finding that it actually teaches you something about yourself. So that's that. And then finally, the ending. Because it's the 4th house, this is going to have to, what I feel is it's going to be about you letting go of something. It's going to be about you letting go of something creative or something that you've given birth to. Whether it's male, female, young, old, something that you've put a lot of time, a lot of care, a lot of attention, a lot of effort and soul-born love into is now either going to come to completion. So if it's a child, they're now ready to spread their wings and go off and do their own thing. If it's a business, maybe it's time for you to sell it on and move into a different sector. If it's, you know, if this falls with a a project that you've had, like I said, like some painting that you've made and, you know, a book that you've written or a website that you've got written. Yes, this is just Aries for now. You know, this is very much about that. It's what you've put a lot of time and effort into has now come to its natural completion. So that was Aries. We now move on to Taurus. For Taurus, I love this board. I'm such a geek. I'm definitely an Aquarius because this whole thing is really working for me. I'm like, oh, I love it. I've got my board. I've got my new space. And da 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 da. As many of you know, having a new space to do what I love has been a really, really important and sometimes very painful journey for me. So to be here and have all these new bits and bobs is awesome, even though they're not very high tech. I know, I'm an Aquarius. Just a second, I'm going to turn my heating off. Okay, so Taurus, the full moon lunar eclipse is going to be about bringing changes to your home and your environment, yeah, because it's falling in your 4th house, and your 4th house is literally that. Your 4th house is your home, it's your environment, it's where you retreat from the world. It is it's where you retreat from the world. It's about what your foundational power base is. You know, because your home isn't just a place for you to sleep. For, you know, for some people it is, but for the most part, your home is like, you know, every man's home is his castle. Every woman's home is her goddess's domain. You know, and it's like that for everybody, and very much for you guys, because Taurus is about security. It's about building something slowly and steadily that is amazing, and you know, and offers the kind of security that they crave. And Taurus tends to get that security through its slow and steady, constant movement towards what it wants and what it wants to solidify. Full moon is going to give you a real understanding of what's important to you in terms of your home, and it's also going to launch you into a search for where truly feels like home for you. And this is the interesting one as well, because, you know, although it's very much about your home, it is about where you find yourself feeling at home. This is from the eclipse, guys. This is, you know, the things and the themes that are going to start to become important from the eclipse onwards. So it doesn't happen necessarily just on the day. It's not limited just to that one day. This is, you know, from here on in, but probably up to about 3 months from now. This is about security in the long term, and as a Taurus, that is deeply important to you. And it really is, you know, security in the long term. What's more secure than your home? That's where you retreat from the world. It's where you build your power. It's where you are most powerful. For any of you that watch Charmed, probably a really bad example, but the sisters were always more powerful at the manor because that's their home. It's their power base. It's where they're strongest. And this is very much the same for you guys, Taurus. And this is going to be about you finding the place where you feel at your strongest, and about saying to yourself and being honest, is where I live now the place? Is this where I feel the most happy and the most secure? Is this the place where I feel the strongest? Is this the place where I feel like I'm truly meant to be? Do I feel at home in this place? And it's not just about the physical space itself, it's about the area that you live in, the environment that you live in, and more importantly, above all of that, what is the one home that, like any good little hermit crab, we can always take with us? This, your body. This is your true home. This is the home for your soul. And if you cannot be at home within yourself, Taurus, then you're never going to be at home anywhere in the world. And that's what it's about. It's about getting deep to the root of who you are, what is important to you, and what do you define as security. And more importantly, is the space that you're in able to... Lovely to have you from Southern California. Is the space that you're in truly serving you? Does it reflect who you are and what you need from the world and from your life as well? This full moon invites you to ask yourself, where have you truly felt the most settled, and more importantly, why? It's also asking you to take a look at your family ties, because the fourth house is that as well. It's about the foundations of who we are, and so therefore it's talking about, you know, our ancestors, effectively, the lineage that we come from, you know, the inheritance that we have. So the wish, what does Taurus have in terms of the wish? The moon here can make you extra sensitive and also feel a need to take shelter and rest, which is fine. You know, I think that's actually really a great thing to do. Speak to the elder people in your family. This is a time to ask them things. It's a time to learn from them. It's a time to really take on board the knowledge that you will only be able to get from the storytellers and the crones and the wizards in your family. What do I mean by that? Crone, although its etymology actually means cantankerous woman, which is a bit of a shame because I love the term crone in terms of, you know, the craft. The crones in your family, the older women that are in the winter of their lives, they're wise and they're strong and they're tough because they've seen it all and they've been through it. The wizards in your family, the word wizard just means wizened one or wise one. and that would usually have been a male. That's where we get the term from. The older men, the older women in your family, the people that you are descended from, go to them, listen to them, talk to them, find out their stories, find out their bits of gems of information that you won't be able to find on Google. That's going to be important for you going forward, Taurus. So, the wish, something you have worked on in terms of foundational security, is now ready to start taking form. This is the time where tangible results for your efforts in terms of your personal security start to manifest. This is where they start to become important for you. And more importantly, what does home really look like to you? Start asking yourself that question now. And what does home really feel like for you? In terms of the second chance, I believe this will come in the form of being able to right a wrong where it comes to some family member. For those of you that have been at odds with somebody in your, your immediate blood family, this is you getting a second chance to repair that relationship. For others of you, this will talk about your ability to find somewhere that you used to believe, or that somewhere that you used to connect to as home, and you miss this place, or you feel connected to this place. This is you getting a second chance to revisit that place and ask yourself, is this where I'm supposed to settle now? Is this where I'm supposed to be? And then finally, the ending of some sort falls in exactly the same way. This could be about a move that comes suddenly and unexpected. So this could be the end of the tenancy or the shelf life of where you live now. And within the next sort of 3 to 6 months, the new place pops up. So very, very interesting for you guys. Gemini. This falls in your third house. Your third house is all to do with your communications. It's all to do with how you communicate at large. It's all to do with what you communicate as well. It's not just about how you say what you say. It's about what you are actually saying as well, whether it has any weight, whether it has any substance, and more importantly, does it actually really represent you? Does it really, talk about who you are? Full moon is culminating a crescendo of understanding as well, which is actually a really interesting point. Comes from a deep insight into how you feel about what you have to say. And that's just as important as well, because Mercury rules your sign. Mercury is a very fast planet. It's very sort of, it's constant, and it goes a million miles to a second. It's one of the fastest planets. And this is very much, it's about how you feel, because the moon is your feelings as well. It's, it's what is important to you, what you feel in your internal space. It's about how you feel about what you have to say. And this goes back to a lot of the readings that you guys have had over the last 6 months. Gemini's been for a real soul-searching sort of year. It's been very much about you guys becoming a contender, but more importantly, being seen as becoming more, not more respectable, just, seen less as somebody that's just about the good times, and more as somebody that has weight and substance and wisdom. And this is about how you feel about what you have to say, what you share with people. Is that still my story? Is that still who I am? Am I ready to move on, transcend, or rise above that? The moon is in the past, and it's also our intuition, and it's asking you to listen to yours, because your story is now changing. And it's not even about the fact that your story is changing. It's more the way that I feel it. It's about the fact that you're being given a chance, especially from this eclipse onwards, to rewrite your story. And I mean really rewrite it from the ground up, to say, that was who I am, who I was, and I stand on that history, and I am now becoming somebody far greater and vaster than I ever could have imagined. And I believe that the wish comes, because it's the full moon, it's the time of wishes granted. The wish comes in you being heard, in you really being heard, as you want to be heard. So this is going to give you the time to start to really feel what you're saying, and whether you believe in what you're saying anymore. And then on top of that, the wish that you get, the wish that comes forward from this full moon, eclipse, super moon, whatever you want to call it, blue moon as well, the wish that comes forward is the fact that people actually hear who you want to be now. They no longer see you for who you were. They can see who you were, but they're not seeing you through that lens anymore. They're seeing you as you choose to be seen from here on in. And this is all to do with how you communicate who you are. The second chance is the same thing. It comes in the ability to rewrite your history, to become something other than what people know you as now. And the ending, it's an idea for you to think seriously about expanding your social circles. Sometimes this is exactly what we need to change our outlook. Sometimes we need to change our outlook by changing our input. And this is really, really important, guys. What you put into your mind, what you put into your psyche in terms of the people and the environments and the short trips, because the third house is short trips, it's siblings, it's your neighbours, it's your cousins, it's the people that are kind of in your immediate area but aren't necessarily your kin, you know, but they could be as well. But it's neighbours, it's people around the street that you live, it's people that you interact with constantly. It's even people at work as well, you know, people that you work with. This is about looking at that support network that you have outside of yourself and deciding, is the input that I get from that really colouring what I'm outputting? And this is you getting a chance to really question that. And then finally, new people and places, new interactions broaden and expand our horizons and feed our imaginations. And the truth of the matter is, sometimes you gotta let people go, things, places that you might be attached to, and in order to, and you know, it's very much what we communicate is what is communicated to us. Monkey see, monkey do. It's that kind of thing. Not to say that Geminis are monkeys, because I love you guys, you're great. So that's Gemini. Cancer. This falls in your second house. Now, this is a really interesting one. For many of you that don't know, I am a Cancer moon. I was born under the full moon, so full moons always get me a bit crazy. My partner knows this, and I have to say, has the patience of a saint. I was born under the full moon, and I was born with the moon in the sign of Cancer. So the moon was in her own house when I was born, and she was full. So the full moon, I really feel it. And Cancer, in my emotional world, is very much going to be relevant to me as well. So how does this fall? Cancers have a brand new era of their finances shaping up, and this is great. It's really great because this is about change, the end of lack, the end of scarcity, but above all, the end of self-disbelief. Now, the second house, it's all to do with your values, it's all to do with your finances, it's all to do with your money, it's all to do with what you earn, it's all to do with your personal income, and the money that comes inwards towards you in your life. Now, that is very much how much you earn and how much you can potentially earn is heavily linked to your self-esteem. And a lot of people will argue this, and I argued it at first actually. I used to be like, that's bollocks, you can't say that, what are you trying to say? And I believe that it's true. The more that I have grown and changed and really picked that thought apart, the more I've come to understand exactly how it works. What you believe about yourself, how you view this person, this being, how much love, care and attention you're willing to put into yourself is as much as you are giving in a vibrational output that you are telling the world and other people you are worth. If you go to work every day and you're like, oh, I can't do this, I'm not very good at that, and you really beat yourself up, the world is going to read that. The universe will read that. Other people will pick it up in your energy field and they will give you what you feel you deserve. The world is a mirror. When you believe that you are worth more, that you should have more, that you do more, that you can be more, that you are more, more starts to find you. It really, really does. You know, and I've seen this work in actual practical motion, and you know, I always know when I'm in the flow because it happens so quick. And when I fall out of that flow, things start to slow down and they get difficult. And then I have to say to myself, check your intention, because it's not them, it's actually you. And I'm like, Rafi. So what else have I got here? Of course, money and materials are not everything, but they are essential to life. And one of the greatest ways to generate true wealth and prosperity stems deeply and intimately from your self-worth. And it is exactly that. What you believe about yourself and how much you love yourself and how much you are able to say I am worth is exactly what comes bouncing back at you. Full moon brings a wish and will bring you some kind of mini windfall, and this will be unexpected and extremely welcome. And I really believe that as well. I think with this, because you know, the full moon, time of wishes, everyone, you know, could do with a little bit more cash, especially when it's, you know, just gone payday or just before payday and all of that stuff. But I don't think it's about that. I actually think this is going to be something that comes your way that is completely unexpected, and it will be something of monetary or material value. And that doesn't necessarily mean, yes, you are worth, and I second that. I damn right second that. You are, all of you, every single one of you that are here that see this message, you are worth more. Okay, believe it, know it, in here. You know, yeah, and this is going to be about a windfall. This is going to be something that takes you by surprise on a monetary or material level. Let's have a look. Cancers need and crave constant security, consistent security at that. It's one of the things that's vital to their survival and happiness. In order to create this for yourself, the moon is going to be highlighting to you what you believe about wealth and what you believe about what you need, but more importantly, just how capable you are of catering for it for yourself. And that's really interesting because, you know, as Cancerians, anyone that carries the Cancerian energy, whether it be your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, the Cancerian energy is about serving others. It's about nurturing others and caring and protecting for them in some way, shape, or form. What you're being asked to do with this is to remind yourself that you can do that for you just as much as everybody else, and it's important to do so. So your wish granted is about being able to use your creative energy, and the power of the full moon as a Cancer is a magical time for us anyway. And I say this because my moon sign is Cancer, and so it'll be speaking to me in some distinct way as well. So yeah, that's the wish. You know, the wish is that you get, you get some kind of monetary or material blessing. The second chance may come in the form of an opportunity to get involved in an investment that you once decided to go on or later regretted. So this is because the blue moon is a second chance. That's how I feel it. You know, it's a rare event. It's the second moon in one space, you know, in the space of 1 month. And so it gives you the chance to readdress or realign yourself to something that you were once part of. Hi, Asma, lovely to have you. You know, it gives you a chance to revisit something. And I feel like this is some sort of opportunity, you know, whether it be financial, whether it be work-wise. It's an opportunity that you once had to get involved with something that you turned down and later came to regret. And this is that chance coming back at you and somebody saying, oh, do you remember that thing, you know, that we were going to do? And, you know, are you interested? Because it's come back around again. The choice, of course, is yours. The ending. The ending is going to come around, going to centre around your self-limiting beliefs about money. And this is very much going to be you asking, what was your past linked to your finances? Did you grow up in a household where you didn't have a lot of money? Did you grow up and, you know, and therefore your ideas about money is, oh, money doesn't grow on trees. It's really hard to come by. It's a graft. It's an effort to come by finance. It's, you know, a privilege to have. Or do you come from a background that, you know, money was nothing? Rather than give you time, care, love and attention, I'll throw money at you because it's easier. And so therefore money becomes actually just as worthless to somebody that doesn't have it because they don't respect it, because they don't have any. They don't know what it is to have. You know, so it's the sliding scale. the end result or the end feeling is exactly the same, but the two different perspectives on it are, you know, they're polar opposites. Dinner back later. Oh, please do. You can watch the whole video, and most people just skip to their sign and then do a bunker. But like I said, this is going to be a long one, guys. It's going to be a really long one. So money was always argued about. You know, I feel that. I really, really feel that, and I resonate with that. And it gave me a lot of really skewed understandings and ideas about money and you know, how difficult it was to have and all the rest of it. When I separated out what was for me and what wasn't for me, and this is what I'm saying to you, Cancerians, the lunar eclipse is bringing you an end to your limited beliefs and understandings of money, and it's going to show you where somebody else, your past, has had a direct result on how you feel about money, and that's going to change. It's going to change for the better, because you're going to have the internal space to really say, this is what I believe about money, this is what I believe about wealth and prosperity. Okay. I can't believe I caught you. And to you too, Crystal. Okay, so Leo. Now this is really exciting for me, because this is my rising sign, and the full moon, blue moon eclipse falls in the sign of Leo. So when something happens in your first house, because your first house, it's about you. It's about everything to do with you. It's about excuse me. It's about your image in the world. It's about who you are. It's about what you present to the world. It's your personality. And it's the totality of who you are. Because one, you know, that's what you have in life. You always have yourself. And that's the one, that's you. Especially even in numerology, you know, one's quite a special number, because it's the one, aside from 0, that begins everything. It's the initiator. So this is the luckiest position in some respects, because it does give you a modicum of control. And this is what I was getting at. Because it's all about you, you get to utilize this energy. You get to make the wish. It's not necessarily just going to be one, you know, with everybody else, the wish that you get is kind of granted and not limited, but focused on the house that it falls in. But if it falls in your first house, you get a degree of being able to say to the universe, this is how I'd like this to shape up. And this is why it's really important around eclipses to check your intention. What do you think? What do you feel? What do you believe? What is real to you? You know, really, really, yeah, I've witnessed this firsthand, because I'm a Leo ascendant and Aquarius sun. I've had the eclipses, and I can say that, and yeah, I've had the nodal axes playing out in my signs, you know, Aquarius and Leo. And it's been a really intense experience, an amazing one that I wouldn't change for the world, but it's certainly been very, very interesting, to say the least. So the first house, like I said, it's very much about you. It's about who you actually are and the way that you present yourself. The choice comes in that you can decide what changes you would like to implement, and it means that the energy of this eclipse is going to support that, especially if you're going in the right way towards whatever your personal destiny is. How do you know that? Check in with your feelings. They always let you know whether you're doing the right thing or not. Okay, so what else have I got here? The choice comes that you can decide what changes you would like to implement. However, remember that change is always necessary, and it's not always easy, and sometimes it's not even welcome. But if you resist the changes, it will only be harder to adapt. It's hard for Leos because we're fixed signs and they cling to what they know. Cats, however, can adapt, and they are fast thinking and fast moving. The wish. Actually, no, there's one thing here that I've written. The first house is a declaration of who I am, but it's with this rare blue full moon eclipse in your sign, it's saying I choose. And what follows that word, so, you know, what comes after those words? Like I said, you get to choose. You get a degree of choice with this. What do you choose? Who do you choose? How do you choose for it to take place, to manifest? That's what you get. You know, this is the wish being granted, and it says, okay, I'm going to allow you to choose. And you're there saying, I choose. What follows those two words? I choose. What you you love my glasses. It's actually so that I can read the questions from usually I used to sit quite close to the iPad and I don't anymore. So I can't actually read the questions unless I've got my glasses on. But you know, like I said, back to Leo, this is about you saying I choose. What follows those two words? So that's the wish. In similar strain, it's going to revolve around something you have always wanted, thought about or hoped for. And I believe the phrase live and live on purpose is the best way to approach this wonderful event. And that is the truth of it. You know, when you choose something, it's you declaring to the world, this is what I want, this is what I claim. And in order to claim anything, you got to claim your damn self. You know, you're being given a wish, go for it. And if you're going to wish with everything that you have and everything that you are, because that is important. The second chance is going to come in the form of you being recognized for some skill or some ability that you have that you've put on the back burner. Oh, Olivia, honestly, it's fine. You know, trust me, I've learned by now how to, you know, have a giggle at myself. And you need to, and I keep switching between this. Anyway, I'm digressing. What is important is that the wish comes in the form of some skill, some latent talent that you have, some ability that you have long wanted recognition for. I'll tell you a secret. When I was younger, I used to dance, I used to sing, and I used to act, and I loved performing arts with a passion. That's my Leo rising coming through in full force. And I really, really wanted it. I really wanted it. I used to think, yeah, you know, just let this happen for me because that's what I want. You know, it didn't happen. But that's one of the things that I look back on with fond memories. And I think to myself, yeah, you know what? I could get back into that. Not even necessarily for fame and fortune and all of that, but just because I enjoy it. And funnily enough, I actually yesterday just signed back up to a dance class. So, yeah, there you go. It looks like at 33 years old, I turned 33 on the 3rd of Feb. You know, 333. You know, it's about connecting to something that you do and you do really well, and you will find that recognition comes from it, from probably an unexpected source. Also, a brighter vision and a higher vision for your life may well present itself in the form of an opportunity, and you will need to act quickly and decisive, because while this may be a rare second chance, it will also be a very short window to take advantage of. Pay attention. And finally, the ending. It's going to be about what you let go of, and in true Leo fashion, you'll never do anything by halves. The full moon is a time of being seen, and you know, because it's like a spotlight. It shines the light on everything that you do and everything that you are and how you're seen. And this is very much going to be about that. You know, there's nothing that you're going to be able to do to be able to hide. And one of the things that I find about that is, you know, for all of that when I was younger, performing arts and wanting to be seen and stuff, I then went through this period of don't look at me, I just want to be left alone and not seen. Well, you can't do that anymore. And this is now, I believe, you know, we're going to come out of it the other side. You know, you're going to come out of this era of, okay, I don't want to be seen, into an era of being seen. And this is why, especially with this happening in your in your first house, be on your best at all times. I'm not saying don't relax, I'm not saying don't be human, but Leo, the next 3 to 6 months are going to be really, really crucial for you. People are watching, people are paying attention to you now. Put your best foot or paw forward. Okay, so who do we have next? Virgo. Virgo, this happens in your 12th house. Now, this is interesting because the 12th house is about the hidden. It's an intangible house. It's I see the 12th house as the depths of the ocean. It's the ocean floor where very little light seems to penetrate. where everything is still and silent. It's the deep well of self, the subconscious. It's all of the past lives. It's the past of this life. It's everything compact into that tight little dark place that never really gets to see a lot of light. And then suddenly the moon comes along and puts a spotlight right in there and says, you know, let's pull this up, because the moon is the past as well. You know, let's have a look. And the 12th house is your past as well. This is, you know, for Virgos, this eclipse is going to dredge up some really, really intense stuff. It's going to put you in a space of really delving deep into who you actually are, into your psyche, into your subconscious, into the dregs of yourself, to, you know, have a look in the silt and say, right, once you get rid of that and you bring light into the, you know, the deepest recesses of self, who am I at a very core level? And for you guys, this is a bit ironic that I'm 12th moon in the 12th house is a powerful time of culmination, and this can very well, yeah, your dreams will be heightened, your power of intuition, your psychic ability is going to start to really pick up. Your intuition's going to be so sharp, so sharp. And for those of you, I'm interested to see how this plays out for the really practical, grounded Virgos, you know, the ones that aren't very you know, the ones that aren't very into this sort of fluff. I'm really interested to see how it plays out for them, because they're going to be having this real sense of extrasensory perception, this real intuition, sort of speaking up and giving warnings, giving understanding. So you're a Virgo moon, you know, this is interesting because your feelings, your power of empathy, if you've got a Virgo moon, this is going to be empathy. You will be having real deep intense feelings about something, whether it's good, whether it's bad, you will know, and you will sniff it out like a, you know, like a wolf does blood. It's and it is that intense. This is a time for you to purge your deepest and most hidden self and shrug off anything that has bogged you down or held you back. For Virgos, this must sound like heaven, because you guys have a very natural, precise nature and a true utter. And it's also going to be liberating for you as well, because when you can really, you know, you guys do this whole thing where you probe into things and you want to know something to its absolute precise measurement and its understanding. And if you can do that with yourself and not be afraid to, you know, to dig into who you actually are, this is going to come with liberation, because it's like, the way that I'm seeing it is, it's like you're excavating the deepest, you know, the recesses of self, and it's like you're pulling all the crap out. And once you're done, Virgo, the digestive system, you know, it all links in actually. Yeah, really interesting. By the time you guys are purging yourselves of all of the crap from your past lives, and really start to listen to your intuition, wow, you guys are going to be a force to behold. You really will. Okay, so you'll be given a glimpse through your dreams and visions, or even just letting your imagination run free, of things that you didn't know and people that you may have been trying to undermine you as well. The 12th house is the house of hidden enemies, because it's the house of all things that are hidden. This will be, so the wish fulfilled comes from some understanding or insight into how you can find joy and peace in your spiritual practice, because the 12th house is about your spirituality as well. So just to touch back on the hidden enemies part of it, yeah, this is very much going to be about you finding out, whether it's through contemplation, whether it's just through a keen understanding of how people work. You are going to now sort of, you'll get a glimpse into who's been trying to, you know, do you a wronging in some way, shape or form, and trying to stay hidden behind the scenes. For those of you that have experienced hardships or difficulties at somebody else's hand, who has not been in the spotlight, you will now start to see these people being shown up and brought out for who they are in your life. Interesting, because if you see my numerology of 2018, this is an 11 year. No hiding that stuff this year, not for anybody. Do not undermine, because it will really bite you in the arse. Not you, Virgo, just anybody in general. This is not the year to be sneaky. It's not the year for lying or anything like that, because the energy is just not there. It doesn't support it. The second chance. Maybe, well, you getting a do-over at some new spiritual path or some approach that you had once passed up. This could be in a group situation or a coven, even for those of you that are inclined. It could also take the form of some of you joining a secret society, because this is the things that are hidden, it's the things that are behind the scenes. This could be a lot of, you know, especially for a lot of Virgos, this will be you tapping into your spirituality, and it will be you tapping into your spirituality by connecting with other people. But this isn't going to happen in front of everybody. It's not going to be on show for everybody to see. This will be happening on a very, very deep level, and like I said, it won't be happening in front of people's eyes. This is a very deep and a very spiritual time, and it has powerful implications with the 12th house. The moon in the 12th anyway is really, really powerful and very potent. And then finally, the ending that may come suddenly and swift may be to do with a maternal issue or an experience that you have had or had. So, because the moon is the mother and it's the feminine energy, and the 12th house is the house of that natural house of endings, aside from the 8th house, it's also, you know, and then the lunar eclipse, which brings an ending as well. For any Virgos or anyone with Virgo energy that have been experiencing problems with the mother, with the maternal figure in their lives, with older females or female mentors, this is now, you'll start to see that stuff, you know, the brakes will be put on, and you'll start to really be able to step back and say, right, okay, now that I've sorted that, and more importantly, now that I've sorted myself by really digging deep into who I am, I can start to see why I may have clashed with you, why that may have been important, and more importantly, what I've learnt from it. What have I learnt about you, but more importantly, what have I learnt about myself? And for some of you, you know, I regret to say, it could possibly come in the form of a female member either leaving your life permanently. That doesn't necessarily just mean by dying, you know, but it also could mean that they'll be leaving your life for good in some other capacity. You know, they could be moving, you know, to a different country. It could be anything like that. But anything to do with maternal issues or difficulties now come to an end. Okay, so Libra. This happens in your 11th house. So 11th house is the house of Aquarius. This offers you the chance to tap back into your sociable times, self and fun and frolic with them, your best, your nearest and dearest. The 11th house is the place where we see our friends, our tribe and the family that we choose. And that's what your friends are. You know, your friends are the people that you choose to be your family, the people that you choose to interact with, the people that you choose to take on and become a part of, and to have become a part of you. This is going to see you asking, who is your tribe? Are they your tribe? The tribe that you have now, that you've built up around yourself, Libra, are these your people? And, you know, for some of you, because it is a lunar eclipse and it is, you know, it brings about some endings, it could be you looking around and saying, actually, are these people for me? Are they going to help me achieve what it is that I want to achieve with and in and for my life? And I say that because the 11th house isn't just your you know, your friends and the family that you choose. It's also your goals. And I believe, I'm a big believer that we are not great. The support that we have around us, it's the people around us that aspire us to greatness. And if the people around you aren't that great, you are not going to be able to reach the heights that you aspire to. And sometimes that's a really difficult process to go through, because it requires you to be honest and brutal. You know, I don't know if you've heard the saying, you are what you hang with. It's exactly that. You know, this is very similar actually to the Geminis, because for you guys it's about, you know, what you're saying and changing your environment. For Libras, this is going to be very much about who you are inputting into your soul, into your psyche, and therefore what they're making you regurgitate. You know, and one of the things my great grandmother always used to say is, Have friends that force you to level up. She never said it in those words because she was Greek. But you know, that was kind of the gist of what she was saying. Always have people around you that keep you pushing, that keep you striving. Not people that see you as below them, because that's not a friend either. But have somebody that challenges you to challenge yourself around you as a friend, so that you can have that mutual respect. I recently went on a course actually at work, and there were two ladies there, lovely ladies who had worked together for a really long time. Yeah, I'm part Greek, definitely. And they said that, you know, when they were giving each other feedback on their Goku and Vegeta relationship, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. You know, she said that when they used to give each other feedback, they would be brutally honest. They would say things to each other that they probably wouldn't say to other colleagues because they'd worked together for so long. And I really believe that, you know, when you have somebody in your tribe that is truly your tribe, you can say anything to that person and have them say anything to you, and it doesn't scratch or change or tarnish what you're about, what your bond is. And I've got one friend who I hope is still in here tonight, Amy. If you're still here, love, you know I love you. We have said things to each other that you wouldn't dream of saying to most people. We've been friends for nigh on 18 years now. And our friendship is immense, because the things that we would say to each other in truth and in love, you couldn't really say to somebody that you'd only known, you know, even 5 or 6 years. But that's the depth of the friendship. And Libra, this is what you're being asked to ask yourself. You know, are the people around me supporting the goals that I have? Are they forcing me to challenge my paradigm? Are they forcing me to reinforce my paradigm? You know, and sometimes that's what it's about. You know, I love people to challenge me on my beliefs, because it helps me look at whether I actually believe that or not. You know, am I still there, or is it just a belief that I carry with me because it's what I identify with? You know, by somebody challenging that and you know, really pushing you to the boundary of it, that's when you start to see, yeah, actually, do I believe that? Is it important to me? Full moon and lunar eclipse are to do with completions or endings or reset buttons. This just happens to fall within your sector of people, support, tribe and family, and how the interconnections between people support their hopes and dreams. You know, this is very much what I've just been talking about. So there will be tough decisions. Yes, Libra. Decisions. And they will have to be made. That's one of the things here. They will have to be made. You will have to make decisions. You will have to be decisive when it comes to the people that you interact with, that you have in your life. The wish will see you having more than enough people to choose from, and realising that after all you are a good judge of character, and finding out that your trust and your faith has been well placed. So a lot of the people that you have in your life at the moment, Libra, will come through for you, and you will be, you know, you'll be proven right for having put, you know, the time and the effort into those people. The second chance will be coming in the form of an invite or a group or a course of action. It sees you getting another chance to do something that you aspire to, or a group that you wanted to can facilitate this dream. So this is about finding the right people at the right time to elevate you to where you want to be, and you will get a second chance for that. You know, the invite, or the, you know, someone say to you, oh, have you thought about doing this, or do you want to come here with me? Go. If you're invited to something that is a social gathering that's going to have a lot of people, go, because the chances are you're going to find somebody that really helps speed things up and elevate things for you. And finally, the ending that comes your way, that may well be swift or even turbulent, is when you start to see who doesn't support you, who doesn't build you up. And this may be a painful experience, especially if your friends are your family by choice, but it will be a blessing in disguise for you, and possibly, even as time goes by, the best thing for all involved. Scorpio. Okay, so Scorpios currently have Jupiter in their first house, so these guys are being blessed abundantly at the moment. That's quite interesting. Sorry guys, I'm just taking a little bit of a breather. I'm aware that I've been literally talking for an hour. Okay, so Scorpio, this falls in your 10th house. Your 10th house is your career. It's your social image in terms of your work. It's all to do with how you are viewed in the world, but more importantly, how you choose to be viewed in the world. You know, Scorpio as a sign is deep and intense and does everything with that same intensity, and that's one of the things I love about you guys. My dad's a Scorpio, so I have an understanding of how you guys are and what makes you tick and what's important to you. Olivia, I love your answers tonight, man. Seriously, you're just giving me too much life. I love it. Alright, so this is going to give you the chance to really make the best of your current situation and break away from something that is no longer fulfilling you. It may mean that you have to really look at how you got to the point that you are within your career and decide just how far you want to take it from here. So it really is actually about asking yourself, what do I want from the world? What do I want to be seen as? How do I want people to view me? And you know, the interesting thing is I really feel that, especially with this, because you know it's an eclipse, so it's going to activate some stuff for you. This is very much going to be about how far do you want to take something? How much do you want to achieve in your career? How much do you want to be recognition for my workplace is in meltdown? It's probably in meltdown because you haven't stepped up to take the helm. That's what this is saying to me. That's what this is about. You know, this is the eclipse brings a reset button. It's almost like I see a lot of you saying, I want that, I want the status, I want the title, I want to be there, but you don't want the spotlight that comes with it. There is no separating the two. You have to take if you want the position, if you want the title, if you want the accolade, you have to take the spotlight that comes with it. This is very, very similar to you know, what Leos are going to experience. It's going to be about a lot of eyes and a lot of focus on you, and it's going to put that focus on you so that you can decide to really step into the role that you want. And you know, one of the things about it's not enough just to sit at the back and say, this is how it should be done. You're going to have to get up there. And exactly, all eyes on me. You're going to have to get up there and grab the reins and say, people, this is where we need to go to achieve what we have to achieve. It's just like any other day. And it will be for some people. As I said, you know, this isn't day specific. It's like a gift that the universe gives you, and it unpacks slowly over 3 to 6 months, depending on your personal situation. But yeah, Scorpios, this is going to be about you being at the forefront. So yeah, you're going to be seen as a trendsetter and a strong contender. This works by you because you're getting real and clear of who you are and what you are not about, which is just as important. And you're deciding what you want and need from this area of your life to really flourish and grow. The past is lunar ruled, and this is about what you have dedicated yourself to in the past and deciding if that's what you want to take with you. Yes, I am, if you need to know. The interesting thing about this is, in terms of your career, what's really, really important is it's about, you know, to get anywhere in your career, you have to dedicate a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of care, a lot of patience, a lot of creativity, you know, full moon in Leo. And it's asking you how much, how much do you, you know, what you've dedicated yourself to up until now, is that enough for you? Do you want to continue building on that career, or do you want to go in a completely different way? And it might well be that, because, you know, like I said, this is an eclipse as well, which also brings endings, it brings culminations. So the wish comes in being able to ask for any job or support to attain any job that you now choose. If you want to change career sector, the next 3 to 6 months is going to be amazing for you. If you want to if you want to do something different, if you want to take what you've done and evolve it somehow so that it starts to fit who you are becoming as opposed to who you have been and who you've been viewed as, you're going to have to lead that process. You have to be at the forefront of it. The second chance is going to be you having and finding yourself being asked to come back to an old workplace, or even being given more chances to really do and enjoy what you choose to enhance your working life and career and the image that you are known for in the world. That's what it's about, you know, and sometimes you've got to retread some old ground to find yourself in new ground. And then finally, the ending is about the removal of obstacles in your career. You know, this is very much about the red tape being lifted up so that you can step forward and say, this is what I wanted to do, and up until now I've been met with resistance. What happens after that? You know, when the brakes come off, when the gates are open, and you can just charge out after what you want with no holdbacks, that's when things really start to happen for you. Very, very interesting. Sagittarius. I know my Saggies are really, really interested. And there's a few Saggies that I absolutely love. And you guys know who you are. Very, very amazing clients of mine I have big, big love for. When I do the... you're welcome. And when I do the monthly videos, you guys know Saggies have a special place in my heart. Okay, so Sagittarius, the moon in the 9th. So you're one of the other lucky ones because just like Aries, this falls in your natural house. The 9th house is all to do with travel, it's all to do with expansion, philosophy, growth, the higher ideals, the higher wisdom. It's all to do with connecting to the world at large. It's all to do with really finding your place within the world by understanding what the world is and what its interconnected web. Thank you, Hannah. And you know, and really connecting yourself to that and saying, what can we do and how can we elevate every single one of us by pulling together as a unit? The moon in the 9th always gives a sense of higher thought and expansion of the feels. Of the feels. This full moon is going to be no exception. Are you ready to take what you feel out into the world? Are you ready to show people who you are at a deep level and share with them the way that you view your experiences that have shaped you? And that's a really important one, you know, taking your past and putting it out there into the world is always a difficult one because you never know how it's going to be met. When people really start to own who they are at a soul level and say, actually, you know what, this is who I am, but I'm also all of this, and I've also experienced all of this, and this is what I bring to the table. That's you effectively setting the tone for the rest of the world to say, all right, okay, it's okay to have some baggage. It's okay to have experiences that have shaped and honed me into a different person. It's okay to acknowledge and admit that I've had experiences that I didn't enjoy, that may have made me make, you know, not necessarily the best decision that I could have, but I did the best with what I did have. You know, this is about, full moon is offering you a chance to really open yourself up to the higher ideals of your life and share them with others. People who are the chalk to your cheese, you know, because this represents others people in the world. It represents foreign cultures as well, because it's the 9th house. And this, for me, Sagittarius, this is about, because Sagittarius is a natural healer. I really believe that. You guys are natural healers. It's like you take the power of fire and you use it to purify things. And that's amazing. It's such a beautiful thing. It's such an amazing catharsis. It actually reminds me of a scene in an anime of the Avatar, where this guy uses the fire to burn chains off of people, but they don't feel any heat or anything. but it melts the metal even still, and he does that by being able to truly manipulate the energy of the fire. And that's what Sagittarius does. And I think by showing other people your experiences, by really saying, this is what I've experienced, this is who I am in the world, and this is what these experiences have taught me, you set the stage for the rest of the world and the people in your environment and the people that you know that aren't in your environment to really say, okay, you know what? It's safe for me to divulge this. It's safe for me to talk about who I am at a soul level. It's safe for me to divulge what my opinions are, what my thoughts are. You know, Sagittarius leads the way in that respect because they say, actually, we all have something to teach and we can all learn something from a teacher. And that's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. Okay, what does this say? You will be feeling vibrant, expansive, expressive, and even a little divine. With this great power and magic, though, comes a little bit of a warning. Yeah, don't use this for selfish or nefarious purposes because it will bite you in the arse. You're more than welcome. Thank you so much for joining. This house is ruled by Jupiter, the Lord of healing and protection, and the ninth house, playing host to the moon in her fullness, is welcoming an honoured guest who is bringing her own brand of magic. In effect, she's blessing this house and spelling protection into your deeds. However, she is also shining a light on who you are at a deep level, and any selfish shortcomings will be highlighted and revealed and may eventually turn sour. Sagittarius is about the soul or the consciousness of the world tribe and who you should be using these blessings on and for. And you know, I've written all of these notes previously, I'm just taking snippets from them. I really believe that, you know, the moon has come to sit in your house and say, look, you know what, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to make sure that your protection is completely protective and that it is divine. And if you've seen the February reading for Sagittarius, go back. Yes, I've already done Taurus. You'll have to catch that once I post the video. Okay, so the wish is offering you a chance. Don't block it by questioning how it's going to happen. Just trust that it would unfold. It's going to offer you the chance to travel somewhere far away that you have been called to for a long time. Start planning the trip or the bucket list destination holiday now, because the chances are this full moon will see that wish granted in the year ahead. So for those of you that have felt drawn to a specific place, a foreign culture that you might not even know a lot about, but you just know you really want to go there, or you feel the need to go to that place, follow that. Start planning that trip, because it will manifest. The way forward of how to get there or how to be in that space will come forward, and what you learn there will be just as valuable as what you take with you. The second chance will be the ability to communicate exactly what you want to say about how you feel and what you have learned and gained from life. For a select few, the second chance will be about a course of study or learning that you never got to finish. Because, you know, it's higher ideals, it's wisdom, it's expansion, but it's also higher education. The ninth house is higher education. And the second moon, the second chance, the blue moon, is going to give you the chance to really to tap back into or get back on some course of study that you never got to complete. So take that. Finally, your feeling of separateness and leaving on your feeling of separateness is leaving on a jet plane. Possibly, or quite literally, your tribe and your audience are waiting, and they are going to embrace you as never before. The lonely blues or the feelings that you are doing it all alone are now about to be banished and vanished for good. Sagittarius, this is a really exciting time for you. Open yourself up and be open to the process, and be open to the fact that you may not be settled where you are for much longer. There are distant lands and people that are calling your name, Sagittarius, and they need you just as much as you need them. Capricorn, Capricornius. I've got so many Capricorns in my family, it's unreal. Oh, nice, nice, very nice. the 8th house, right? So this is really interesting because, as I said, I've got quite a lot of Capricorns in my family. I've got quite a lot of Capricorn friends, and I have seen you guys be put through the mill this last 2 years, and I mean really, like, really put through the mill. Now, the moon is highlighting that. It's making you not only very psychic, but it's also making you a very, very good detective. You are not done Aquarius yet. I'm on Capricorn at the moment. The moon in the 8th makes you very, very psychic. It gives you a sense for when things are being hidden. It gives you a sense, and this is different. It's very different. The moon in the 12th house for Virgo is all to do with the past and dredging things up, and it's all to do with the hidden, absolutely. But it's also to do with the spiritual and the deeper aspects of self. Whereas the 8th house is all to do with what is deliberately being hidden. It's all to do with the psychology of us. It's the taboo. It's the sex, death, the inheritance, other people's money. It's, you know, the 8th house is a really broad house because it covers quite a lot of things. A 666 moon. Not sure I buy into that, but okay. I'll be interested to chew the fat over a blood moon. It's not the blood moon. The moon is deeply intuitive being anyway, but the full moon heightens this phenomena and for all of us. But when it's in the 8th house, it's supercharged. It's a potent mix of shining light on everything and revealing its true nature. And this is why it makes you a good detective, because you're not just seeing things and people for exactly what they are or as they are, but you're really starting to delve deep into that. And this is going to give you the ability to literally see through things. It's going to be, you know, you stepping into this ability to perceive things from, you know, and to really understand them, because the 8th house is very, thank you. The 8th house is a very powerful house in terms of your psychology and your understanding. And it allows you to really dig deep into things, but through your perception. This isn't necessarily just about your intuitive perception, it's about your actual perception, you know, how you look at things, how you are able to pull them apart and then reassemble them through understanding. Capricorn mind is a very powerful thing anyway, and the next few months will see you really get into the depths of everything and finally laying them to rest. Once you know a thing, you may not be able to unknow it, but you are also able to continue with a better prepared course of action. And that's really true as well. You know, this is very much going to be about that. Once you can really take something apart and understand each separate part of it, you can then move forward. You may not like what you learn, but once you have that knowledge, you can start to build a solid concrete. Oh, my head is tingling here. You know, you can start to build a very solid and very stable platform of understanding. And more importantly, the plans that you have are built on foundational knowledge. You know, they're built on things that you know, as opposed to things that you can only speculate. And your ability to know things your ability to know things is going to be very much you know, tempered by this ability to perceive things. You know, that you're going to be a natural detective. You'll hear it in the way that somebody responds in an answer. You could ask them how the weather is, and from, you know, the answer that they give you, oh, you know, da, 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 you could be getting all of this other information and really understanding how people communicate behind what they say. You know, this gives you that kind of ability. It gives you that kind of power. The moon is also being the past. Not only enables you to delve into your own past and psyche, but that of others. And in that lie the beauty. In those murky waters, you will start to understand just why everyone around you is the way that they are. And for some of you, this is going to allow you to really start to forgive people. For some Capricorns, you know, this ability to really understand why you respond the way that you do to a lot of the things that happen to you in life will give you the ability to start to see why and how other people respond the way that they do. And this is gonna, you know, it's gonna really give you a different perspective. There are always undercurrents to life, and they tend to sway us with the moon's domain, the emotions. Capricorn, you are a pillar of strength at the best of times, and a psychologist with your powerful mind. You would be indeed a formidable enemy, but more importantly, a very powerful healer. And that's really, really exciting. That's also really interesting as well, because you've got the duality of it there. So you've got the Capricornian side where your mind is really powerful and you're a really formidable enemy. And with the moon and this energy backing you up, woe betide anybody that tries to cross you, because it will not end well for them. But for those that you choose to bless, for those that you choose to forgive, those blessed few are truly blessed, and that's really, really wonderful. If you have an insight into something, even if it upsets the apple cart, this is the right time for you to speak on it. This is the time for you to allow your true wisdom to come forward and just to say what you perceive, what you see in somebody and in their life and what it may have been. This is the time to speak on it. Not all of it is going to be easy. Not all of it will even be received, you know, in the most exciting way, I guess. But it will be received nonetheless. And once it filters through those emotions, I believe that, you know, the information or the knowledge or the understanding that you give someone will be seen for the gold that it is. Maybe further down the line, but as I said, this isn't day specific. It's a toolbox or a gift that kind of unpacks itself over the course of 3 to 6 months. So, the 8th house is all about psychology, sex, death, rebirth, and all the taboos of life are hidden in this house. And that's why the moon's light there is going to allow it all out. And although Pandora's box opened to revealed horrors, at the end, what was the one thing that was left? Hope. You know, you guys, like I said, Capricorns have been through the mill over the last 2 years. And what comes out of that now is a truly, deeply understanding ability. And once you get to the other side of it, I think you are going to be... I think you will have so much more hope and so much more freedom and so much more happiness to offer the world. So the wish is going to be the end of the darkness for the Capricorns, and that's very much, you know, the full moon gives you a wish. The wish is going to be, you know what, let this difficult period of my life end. And the full moon grants that. You know, you will start to see a lightening and an understanding of just how much it's actually been a blessing in disguise. The blue moon is the second chance. So you've got the wish, the second chance, and the ending. You know, the wish is the full moon. The second chance is the blue moon. The ending is the eclipse moon. The second chance is going to be you hearing the words that you have waited for what seems like a lifetime from a specific someone. So for those of you that have been waiting to hear a sorry, or this is why I did this, this was the reason behind, all of those hidden reasons, all of those things, those tidbits of information that you needed to make whatever it is that you experienced worth the pain that it cost you, you will hear that now. Over the course of from today onwards, right up to and including the next 4 to 6 months, I would say for you guys, you will get, you'll get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you will get that moment where somebody says to you, this is why. This is, you know, it's because, this is why, this is... And when that happens, you will remember this, because it will be the thing that you have waited to hear for the longest time. And when it comes, it will allow you to lay so many things to rest. And then finally, the end of the deep, dark, depressing feelings of despair. You are now about to breathe fresh air, and you are emerging from underneath the water, and you are taking a gasp of the good stuff. After the dark comes the light, Capricorn. This is your moment. Beautiful. Really, really beautiful. As I said, I've seen you guys go through the mill, and it's been intense. Aquarius, Hey y'all, where my AQ's at? You know, he's one of me. I am an Aquarian. Okay. Love, baby, love. So this falls in our 7th house. And the 7th house is all to do with the other. It's all to do with the boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, wife, lover, husband. You know, it's to do with the significant other. It's all to do with the other person. It's all to do with how we respond to others and how others respond to us. And it's the house that would most directly show you that the world is a mirror. It's how I perceive and experience the world through the other person. And it represents your house of marriage, your house of the spouse. You know, I'm interested to see how this goes because I'm an Aquarius sun. So it's an exciting time for me as well because it's all about your relationships. And yeah, and another note about that as well. It's not just your relationships with your significant other. It's your relationships with everybody. You know, your relationships at large, how you interact with other people. The full moon is going to give us a glimpse into how our previous relationships are affecting these ones. That although may be a little intense, because it will make us very aware of what baggage we are holding on, it can only be a good thing because the reason being is it's going to highlight to you just what you need to let go of and how you yourself may be hindering your relationships or allowing your past to. And it's funny because I remember writing this. I've actually been sitting on this info for quite a while, and I remember when I was writing it, it's probably about 5-6 days ago now. I remember thinking to myself, I was doing something in the kitchen. It was really trivial, and I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I need to stop letting my previous relationships, whatever I've experienced, the hurt, the pain, you know, even the good stuff, I'm not there anymore. I'm in a new relationship with a new person, and I need to be, I can, but I'm kind of getting to that. You know, I had this startling realisation of how I was allowing those things to affect the here and now. And it's just not relevant. You know, the moon is your past as well as your emotions, as well as that. And this whole energy is giving you a glimpse into how you're really starting to see, you know, what are you bringing with you that doesn't have a place in where you are? You know, what is the baggage? What is the understanding? What is the thought process behind your relationships? And how much of that was given to you by a different relationship to the ones that you're experiencing now? It doesn't talk just about it doesn't talk just about, you know, what you're experiencing in, you know, what you've experienced in your previous relationships. It talks about how you're allowing that stuff to affect the here and now, how you're allowing that to colour things. Let's see, the moon is also about intuitive awareness and may also be giving you dreams, thoughts, musings or feelings about what you are holding on to from previous relationships. And physically you might decide to throw old gifts, objects that just don't have a place in your new life and world. I've done a lot of that over the last 10 days probably, just really taking the time to look around and say, actually, I don't need that anymore. It doesn't fit with who I am. I don't want or need it in my life. And while it suited me then and it was a great gift, I don't have the time or the space for it. And sometimes it's not just about the physical space that somebody has given you takes up. It's about the emotional and mental space that it takes up as well. Interesting. Need to commit to the here and now. For Aquarians, it's going to come from being granted a gift of the fairy tale that your heart desires. Whether you're male or female, everyone envisions a great lasting love for themselves, and this is the chance to find it. This is the chance to open yourself up enough to receive the kind of love that you deserve and treasure. And remember, the cup can only be filled once it's truly empty, and this is the time to empty the cup. I was really on a roll this day. I was getting right in there. And yeah, I kind of stand by that as well. You know what I've written there. It's very much about, you know, your ability to push past and say, okay, this is what I require from a relationship. And in order to have that from a relationship, I need to decide what I am able to give, you know. And in order to decide what you're able to give, you got to know what it is that you want from a relationship. The two are mutually beneficial, you know. It's kind of like a catch-22, you know. And sometimes as well, you have to know what you don't want in order to know what you do want. And I think when you can really experience and explore where you've been in a relationship setting, you can then start to lay the foundations for what you want. What is acceptable for me? How do I love people? You know, how do I want to be loved? What is love to me? You know, is it just about the physical things? Is it about the things that someone can give me? Or is it about how somebody can actually make me feel? You know, how somebody can make me smile even when they're not even in the room, when they're not even in front of me, and I catch myself thinking about that person for little snippets of the day. That's love. That's real love. For relationships in general, how you perceive yourself through, with, or by other people, it's mutual. It's beneficial. It builds you up. It leaves you feeling energized and positive. It doesn't leave you drained. It doesn't leave you questioning yourself or downtreading yourself. Okay, so if you are in a relationship or not looking for one, this will be about how you view yourself in relation to others and being seen or loved for who you are in all senses of interaction. And that's another one as well. For those of you that aren't seeking love or aren't in a relationship, it's about how you're seen by other people and deciding how you want to be seen by other people. And I think this, you know, lunar eclipse energy is going to give you an understanding of just how you have been viewed in your past, about how much people actually do love and care for you, how much people do cherish your presence. You know, from here on in, you're going to start to really understand what you mean to other people. So the wish comes in the form of being granted a glimpse into the fairy tale that your heart desires, as I mentioned. The second chance, I feel this is going to be a chance to redo something in a relationship. It's the kind of like the moment where you get to reintroduce yourself to a lover or a partner. For some of you, this is going to be about taking the next step. It's the end of an old cycle and the beginning of a new one. It's about you being given a second chance to say, this is who I am. For some of you, this will come in the form of, for those of you that have seen Notting Hill, I'm just, you know, standing in front of a guy asking, you know, it's that kind of moment where you get to say, this is who I am and this is what I want. Is that you? Are you that person for me? For some of you, this will come in the form of rekindling a past relationship. What I would be very on the lookout for is who you are now, and where you want to be in terms of your relationships. That's really, really important. It's about asking yourself, you know, we've been in this relationship before, and are we different enough now to progress to a relationship that is really, really, truly blessed between us? So yeah, there's definitely some revisiting happening. And finally, the ending. This is time to let go and die all the ghosts of relationships past, the things and the people that didn't work out, and this is giving you a chance to truly start again. It's either a blessing of your union or the laying of the foundations for soulmate. Aquarius, let yourself be loved. And that's it. It really is that simple. It really is as simple as just allowing yourself to be loved, allowing yourself to be seen for just who you are, and knowing that in order to be love and to encapsulate love, all you've got to do is be yourself. Awesome. And then finally, Pisces. We've done the whole zodiac. There's not many of you here now because I've been going on for like an hour and a half, but at the end of this I'm going to pull some cards, just one question card answers, nothing fancy, and they will be very, very short and very few because I am exhausted. Physical. Alright, so for you guys, this falls in your 6th house. Your 6th house is your physical body, it's your health regimes. It can be sicknesses and illnesses or ailments that pop up. It can also be, and it's also your work and your service to others. So this is, you're more than welcome. It's actually my pleasure. So the sector of physical health, prowess, service, and service to others, and even challenges to health and illnesses, and even some minor enemies. 6th house is the challenges that look at your structural integrity. So I believe that this for Pisces is very much going to be about you guys dipping into, you know, what you now need to do, how you need to start looking after yourself. It's going to force you to look at whether you are looking after yourself, and more importantly, how you are allowing your work-life balance to impact your physical health. So although this is the house of, you know, your work and service to other people, I believe that this is, I believe that this is very much going to be about you, you deciding to find a work-life balance, to really say to yourself, right, okay, I need to get my health sorted, and if my health and my, you know, my structural integrity are on point, then I will be that much better at my job. But in order to, you know, the two are symbiotic, absolutely, but it's about the sliding scale. It's about finding a happy medium. And, you know, the moon is shining a spotlight there. It's asking you to say, right, yeah, quitting smoking is one way that you could do it. It's very much, you know, quitting smoking is one way to do it. For some of you, it's about eating better foods. It's about eating things that are actually going to be really good for your body. It's about finding a diet that works with the type of body that you have, even down to your physiology. You know, for some people, it's about finding, you know, the right type of foods, or eating at a time that is suitable and reasonable for the life that you have. It's about learning to work with your body and really start to listen to it. You know, health isn't just going to the gym and doing cardio and all of that. Health, real, true health is about looking after your vitality. And the best way for you to look after your vitality is to listen to your body, to pay attention to what it is. Me, myself, I'm not a Pisces, but I notice that when I eat bad, when I eat crappy food, like a lot of wheat and stuff, I get this little flare up here and here. And that's my body's way of saying, I don't like that stuff. It's not good for me. The second I start to eat more vegetables and drink more water, it starts to disappear. And it's about noticing those really small, subtle ways that your physical self is saying to you, this is what I need from you to remain able to do what it is that you require of me. And that feeds into your work and service. The moon here as well is going to ask you, are you doing enough for other people? Because it's kind of shining a spotlight on that. It also talks about your work in a mundane sense. I feel like this is going to allow you to be seen just for how much you do for other people and how much you contribute in your workplace. For some of you, this is going to be about the recognition that you finally deserve. You know, like I said, the moon shines a spotlight there. So it's asking you, do you do enough for other people? And more importantly, do you do too much for other people? Are you getting the recognition that you deserve in your workplace for your efforts? You know, and I believe that some of you probably aren't, actually. My partner is a Pisces rising, so it will be interesting to see how this plays out for them. Magic is in the air for your work life, and it can also give you a chance to find a balance between creating better health and work-life balance. We talked about that. Some balance in our lives is thrown out of whack by outside sources, and sometimes those forces come in the shape of people. Sometimes there are enemies to our survival and our advancement. And that's the truth of it. You know, sometimes it's about not seeing the pitfalls. You know, while you're I don't know if you've seen it, there's a picture where, you know, somebody's trying to hold somebody up, and that person's actually trying to, you know, stab them in the back while they're trying to help them. And that's what it talks about. You know, pay attention to who you give your time and your energy to. Pay attention to what you devote your time and your energy to. Is it actually serving you, or is it actually trying to undermine you in some way, shape or form? You have discovered such, yeah. The full moon is a culmination and wish fulfillment. The wish you will be asking for is the strength to succeed in your efforts, and above all, to leave behind those who work in the dark and wish for your demise. So yeah, anybody that is one of those Judases that will smile to your face and is secretly stabbing you in the back, this is about them, you know, just anything that they have falling on deaf ears and really not coming to fruition, basically. The second chance comes when you decide to rededicate yourself to your health, your body, and enjoying your life and being of service to yourself and your loved ones. So yeah, being of service isn't always just to do with your work. Sometimes you need to learn to be of service for yourself, which is just as important. And then finally, the end of an old era of self-destructive tendencies. Pisces, I know you know what I'm talking about here. Whether it is sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever your vice is that is out of control, you are being asked to put that stuff aside now in favour of what is more important. What is more important, and when I talk about structural integrity, I don't just mean, you know, in terms of your physical structure, I mean like your soul structure as well, your psyche structure. Anything that threatens that structural integrity is not good for you and needs to be let go. Sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Sometimes it's, you know, our own habits get the better of us. But I believe that the eclipse will give you some kind of, it will give you a boost, and it will give you the strength that you need to put that stuff to bed. And for some of you, it will be literally just about what you think and feel about yourself and how you project that stuff onto yourself. You know, and that, well, I won't even go into that. That's a whole other video on its own. So there you go. Wishes, second chances, and endings. That's what this moon represents, I believe. It's been my absolute pleasure to do this. Thank you so much for all of you that have joined. Thank you so much for all of your comments, your likes. Thank you so much for just being here and being part of what I do. It really, really means the world. So, I said I would do a few, and I stand by my word. Questions. One card answers, not too much info, because I am exhausted. What do you want to know? Scorpio and money. Okay, so this is for you, Lacey. You get the Death card. This talks about transformation. Interesting. So, Lacey, in terms of Scorpio and money, I'm going to say that this is actually a message for you to say to yourself, what needs to go now? And I feel that this ties directly into what I talked about for one of the other signs. This is about you saying to yourself what you are worth, and more importantly, asserting that. Interesting, because you say Scorpios and money, and the Death card represents the sign of Scorpio. So this is about what you choose. It's about how far you choose to take it. And more importantly, it's about saying to yourself, what do I want to create now? You know, what is important for me to bring into this? You know, it's asking you effectively to get real. It's about saying to yourself, I can generate the wealth that I want, but I'm going to have to let something go to do it. Am I getting the promotion, Aquarius Sun? The Wheel of Fortune, yes, and it may well come from an unexpected source. So as the Aquarius Sun, you getting the promotion. Yes, a part of this will be to do with luck though, and the reason I say that is because I feel like although you're a very strong candidate for the position, I feel like there's another person that's quite a strong candidate, and I believe that they won't be able to take the position. So while you are blessed in that you are very capable of doing it, you are also lucky in the fact that the other contender for the position is not going to be able to take it. Anybody else? Should I stay with your boyfriend? You get the Magician. This is about your choice. Although I kind of feel like this is something that you do quite a lot. You make the decision to leave, and you build that, you know, into the relationship, and you tell this person, I've got to leave, and I've got to leave for this reason, and then you don't do it. And it's like you're almost playing yo-yo with this person and their feelings. You know, the Magician's a really powerful card. It's such an amazing card. But I kind of feel like you have all the power in this relationship, and you're doing this whole push me, pull me thing, and it's not entirely fair on the other person. And that's what I feel for this. Don't become, just because you have all of the power doesn't mean that you necessarily have to wield it. Capricorn, love and finances. Okay, well, let's do Capricorn love. Capricorn love, temperance. There's a lot of healing coming to your love situation, Capricorns. This is talking about you really tapping into this ability to transform the experience that you're having. So Capricorn, healing is coming into your love situation, and more importantly, a spiritual aspect. You're going to start to understand the relationships that you're in, that you have on a, you know, on an intimate level from a very spiritual perspective. You're going to start to be able to really take out what is important from those relationships and leave behind what isn't. I kind of feel like you guys are stepping into a new era of love, actually. And more importantly, that leads you to a new era of sensuality as well. Libra, new job. Let's have a look. The Hermit. Libra, there is a new job out there for you, but it's going to require you to do some travelling. It's going to require you to actually get out there. This isn't going to be something that you can sit at home and have come to you. You're going to have to actually make the effort to get out there and make it happen. And more importantly, you're going to have to start clearing out your space. I kind of feel like your immediate environment, it's got too much clutter, and you're not able to really think, you know, think past the experience that you're having now. And it's not because you're unemployable or because, you know, the job that you have is no good. It's more to do with, sorry, Miss Love, one question per person. I've already done yours. Yeah, so Libra, new job. You're going to have to go to it. It's not going to come to you. But you also need to make a concrete decision about what it is that you need from a job. Good question, because I'm an Aquarius. Aquarius, sun, marriage. Oh God, scared now. All right. Temperance, healing, and also expansion, change. Aquarius sun, you know, this is you marrying somebody that is a very big opposite to you, because this card's actually ruled by the sign of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is all to do with higher ideals, foreign cultures, different places, philosophies. This is a meeting of minds, but it's also healing in relationships, and it also represents your ability to connect with somebody completely different. So marriage for the Aquarius sun is there. Should my son and daughter-in-law move in with me to help me save my house? Ooh. I'll be sending you some energy tonight, my love, so that you don't lose your house. I've been in that position once, and it's very, very painful. So I call in as much love and light and, you know, prosperity and abundance so that that doesn't have to happen. But let's see. The Magician. For the lady who asked, should her son and daughter-in-law move in with her, you need to tap into your own personal innate strength. You've got a lot more power than you know at this moment in time, and you need to remember that. It's really easy for anybody to say on the other end of a screen, but I must say to you, dig deeper. Do not give in to fear, and dig deep and really think about that. You have a lot more strength and you have a lot more power than you imagine at this moment in time. And in terms of whether it would help you, it absolutely would, but I believe it will only be by short term. It may well be that them moving in helps you and it puts you instead, to have them not there for that long. Yeah, I get that. Sometimes we feel helpless because of the decisions that we're making, and that whole push me, pull me thing is really difficult. Leo finances after the lunar eclipse. Leo finances after the eclipse. Beautiful. You get the star card. Leo girl, you've already had a glimpse of what life can be like for you in terms of finances. It's like the way that I see it, is the way that I'm seeing it is you've dreamt it and you've got this understanding and this thought of what it can be for you, and you're now starting to think, well, yeah, I can hold the image in my head, but how's it going to happen? Don't question, just know that it will happen. You've had this. The star card is about hope. It's about the glimpse into the future. You are laying the foundations at this moment in time for the next 17 to 21 years. The star card always gives you a very, very long-term prediction. Yeah, Jennifer, short-term, have them with you, but just know that you have a lot more power than you imagine at this moment in time. You're more than welcome, Miss Love. Thank you so much. Yeah, but for Leo girl, Leo finances after the eclipse look absolutely brilliant. The star card is saying that you're building a very, very long-term you're building a very long-term stable platform for yourself. Olivia, what about love? Let's have a look. You get the Chariot. I'll be honest with you, this is about steering what it is that you want. Laying the foundation as we speak, opening my store in March. Amazing. I wish you all the best, Leo girl. I really do. Olivia, love, baby, love. You got the Chariot, and this says two things to me. One, the success is absolutely there. Two, you got to slow down. Just ease it up a little bit. You really need to, and the reason I say this is because the Chariot's a really fast card. It's a really quick card. It moves very, very fast. But it's also success, it's also victory, and it's the yes card. And I say this to you, take your time. And the reason I say this is because you're going to be presented with a choice between partners sooner than you might imagine. And I just want to say to you, take your time in your choice. Don't rush into anything. Last question now, guys, because I'm absolutely knackered. No. Aquarius, new jobs are going to be awesome, especially if you remember what I said about relationships. Your relationships isn't just about, who you marry or who you sleep with. Your relationship... I choose them all. I love it. Olivia, you little hussy. I love it. It's brilliant. No, Olivia, love is coming, but just slow down, because I believe that the person that you kind of settle with sooner than you imagine, I say no later than July, is going to be quite a long-term one. But it's about you picking the right person for who you will evolve into, as well as who you are now. Don't choose too quickly, just give yourself time. Last question, and then I'm going to go because I'm knackered. Gemini juice, love. You get the Emperor. This is about declaring what you want. It's about declaring what you need. Gemini, whoever that was that asked about love, this is about you speaking up. And more importantly, it feels like to me you actually have to say to somebody that you want more commitment. It's actually what you have at the moment has been nice up until this point, but what you need is more commitment. You need something more solid and more stable, and you're at a point in your life now where you're saying, do you know what, I want and I need more, and I'm okay about saying that. And if you can't give it to me, then that's fine. You know what, it's okay. Awesome, yeah, see, look, and that's him there, because the Emperor represents the sign of Aries. So, you know, this is your Aries right here, but it's you saying you are absolutely relationship material. Don't rush at all. But yeah, Gemini love, I absolutely believe that you are ready for more, and if you speak on it and you speak openly and honestly from the heart, you may well be truly surprised. Guys, it has been my absolute pleasure and honour. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your evening. I want to wish you all an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for continuing to support the Radiant Reality family. We love you for it. Take care, and I will see you very soon.